Well, good morning, everyone. How are ya? How you doing? Okay. I want to say hello to our dear friends who follow us live. And of course, we love those folks who listen in on our podcast. Michael, Brahim, how are ya? And, okay, who's all? Rita, how is you? Madeleine, how are you? And Sandy, good morning. Andrea, Niagara Falls. How do you like the hat, guys? Rose, Mary, not Rosemary, but Rose and Mary. Ginny, Nick from our staff, Wendy, Markham, Beverly, Nouveau-Brunswick, Maria, Ottawa, Terry, Victoria, Kevin, how are you? Oshawa, Linda, Waterloo. Oh, you know how much I love those Lindas? Nick says she loves the hat. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Gertie, how are you? From Burlington. Nellie. And Debbie, Sturgeon Falls, Ontario. Never heard of it. Wendy, Wasaga. Veronica, just kidding, of course. I know where Sturgeon is. Karen, Indiana. Deb, good morning from Motown. Gary says he loves the hat. Yvonne, Petawawa. And Brahim likes my hat too. Kati Jatu, how are you? Keith, good morning. Sue, how are you? From Bolton. Linda, Chino, California. Those Lindas, my word. Dave, how are you? Rachel. And Sharon likes the hat. Anita from Sudbury. Never heard of it. Karen, Kincardine, Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Francis Marie. Shelley from Baxter. Teresa, Mississauga. Carol, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. John, can you see what it says now? And Jeanette, Fran, and Nancy from St. Charles. A couple of more guys. Donna, Newfoundland. Barbara. And Sherry, Sandusky, Ohio. Wendy from London. And I think that said Norma. Joanne, Eganville. I know where Eganville is. Darlene, how are you? Nancy, Gore's Landing. Beautiful. Shirley, Tavistock. Victoria, two more. Barbara, happy Tuesday. And Gary. Okay, now see the hat? Okay. Eggs, meat, and cheese. E equals MC2. Got it? Okay. Okay, guys. Now, I'll give you a little bit of report. Now, some of it will be repetition. That's me, by the way. Repetition, rinse and repeat. But I just recently read a book that I very much enjoyed, and it's called Why We Get Sick, and by a Dr. Bickman, Bikman. I liked it because he was talking about insulin and insulin resistance. And he said, why do we get sick? He's a researcher at BYU, Brigham Young University, smart guy. And I could do a whole series on some of the studies that have been done on insulin and insulin resistance. But let me just, there was one part of the book where I call this size matters. Okay? Size matters. Now, let me get into this just a little bit. And I want to take a quote from this book. take a quote, and this is what Dr. Bickman said, and I think it's really an important part of the book, okay? And I think it's important to us. And he says, most people are spending every waking moment and even sleeping in elevated insulin. Houston, we got a problem. Most people are spending every waking moment and even sleeping in elevated insulin. I particularly was struck by that statement. And a little story coming from that. Yesterday I was on with a producer. We're looking at doing a little mini, I don't know how you would call it, documentary, I guess, a little bit. And we're talking about the theme of insulin. And what I was saying to Frank, that producer, I was saying, Frank, like that theme ought to be, okay, why are we so stinking sick? And here we are in 2024, and the world just doesn't get it. They didn't get the memo. And there's the biggest reason that they didn't get the memo is because nobody's telling them. Big food isn't going to tell you about the dangers of insulin. That's for sure. And big pharma is never, I don't think, will ever talk about insulin resistance. It's not part of their DNA. Look, again, overarching principles. For those folks that are new and watching today, let me just say this, okay? Overarching principles. And why are we so stinking sick? Okay? Now, this doesn't come out of Dr. Bickman's book. I've said this for I used to say it on my radio show. Why are we so stinking sick? Okay? Generally. Big food, huge, guys. Everything you see in the grocery store pretty well comes from 8 to 10 companies. They're conglomerates. They've taken over the food world, guys. Okay? It's the way it is. Okay? From Coca-Cola to Pepsi-Cola, and Lever Brothers and General Foods and whatever, okay? The list is about 8 to 10. They own everything in food. Now, look, I know there's good people in there, but what I'm saying is they are never, never, ever interested in your health. They're just not. They're not interested in your health. They're interested in the bottom line, dollars and cents. Okay? And their theme is everything in moderation. So, look, the food industry, and this is well established, we're like the tobacco industry. They actually paid people, the food industry paid people, the sugar industry paid people to lie about the downfall or the side effects of sugar. And that goes back into the 60s and 70s. Blame everything on cholesterol. There's no big money in animal food. The big money is in our packaged goods. From cereal to crackers. Okay? Just understand that. Go through the middle aisles of your grocery store, and the companies that own those things, their overarching principle is, when it comes to health, would be moderation. Okay? You can have chocolate bars, just eat them in moderation. Well, if you're a carbaholic, I don't recommend any chocolate bars at any time. Okay, and they'll say this, okay, if you don't have a chocolate bar, well, at least have something healthy like a granola bar. And start your day, don't start your day with bacon and eggs, because that'll give you cholesterol and that will give you cancer. No, you start your day with our cereals because you're going to get fiber. Okay? So there's big food. And then there's big pharma. Okay? And again, are there good people in the pharmaceutical industry? Yes. Have they done some very good things? Yes. Okay, so don't come after me and scream at me. No, they've done some good things. But at the end of the day, all of their protocols have to do with you getting sick. And there is some prevention. For example, there's a lot of doctors who are influenced by the pharmaceutical companies to, you know what, you got a history of high blood pressure, let's put you on blood pressure medication as a prevention. Or if you have a family history of heart disease, let's put you on a statin drug. Or they often start metformin with somebody that's a pre-diabetic, then that's not even diabetic. Okay? That's just the way they operate. And medicine and big pharma, who know nothing about food, nothing. It's not taught in medical schools. If they get an hour, good for them, but that's about it. Okay? I took over 2,000 hours of nutrition. They just don't know anything. So that's a bad combo, guys. If you've got big food and big pharma who influence medical training and they're not into prevention and they know nothing about food, and big food doesn't really care about your health, that's where we're at today. And people, 93% of the population in North America, 93, it used to be 88, it's up to 93. Look, I didn't make up that statistic, guys. Okay? I didn't make that up. 93% of the population have trouble with insulin. We call it metabolic syndrome. When you think of metabolic, think of energy. Energy. And metabolic syndrome, insulin is a big problem. Now, let me get into size matters, okay? So let me bring you back to the quote. Most people are spending every waking moment and even sleeping in elevated insulin. And this all depends on what you eat. Okay? So let me give you an example. You start your day with cereal. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's oatmeal. Isn't that good for me? No, it's good for your horse. You got a horse in the backyard? Oats are good for horses, not for you. Okay? Now, let's say you have a bowl of oatmeal. But Dr. Martin, I put some berries on there and bananas and yada, yada, and skim milk. Yikes. Okay? But here's what happens. Okay? Now follow my hand. Blood sugar rises like it's an Elon Musk launch of a spaceship. When you eat cereal, oatmeal. Well, what about Cheerios? It has a heart on the box. I know, you're going to have a heart attack if you eat it. Okay? So, your blood sugar skyrockets big time. Oatmeal will send you into the stratosphere as far as your blood sugar. Now, you guys know this. Your body will not allow blood sugar to rise for very long. Okay? Everything you own in your body will fight that. And insulin is dedicated to getting that blood sugar back, because your body is smarter than the medical profession. Your body is smarter than the food industry. Your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. If you don't believe in God, I don't know what to say to you when you look at the human body, and I mean it. Okay? Now, your body does everything to pull that blood sugar down again. Insulin. And insulin says, sugar, you can't park in the bloodstream. Come here. I'm going to park you somewhere else. Can't park you're in a no parking zone. Blood vessels is not a place for sugar to park. You can't park there. You just ate a bowl of oatmeal. You thought it was good for you. Your blood sugars went skyrocketing. Insulin comes out in a huge amount to say, sugar, get back here. Come down, and then I'm going to take you and park you outside of the bloodstream. Why? Why? Because sugar is so toxic, and your body knows it. It destroys blood vessels. If you don't believe me, I always refer you to a diabetic. A diabetic is someone that now they cannot control their blood sugar properly. They take medication, but even then, okay, insulin's not working like it should. So what happens? They're a diabetic. And if you don't think sugar is toxic, remember, it used to be called sugar diabetes. And sugar will destroy your blood vessels. And that's the biggest problem in diabetics. Their eyes, blood vessels. Their kidneys, blood vessels. Their heart, blood vessels. They get damaged. Why do you think a diabetic is 50 times more likely to have a heart attack? Or stroke? Or go blind? Or lose a limb? Or destroy their kidneys and need dialysis? Why? You would think the answer is so simple, it's unbelievable, but today it just shows you how silly medicine has become. It's silly. It's sugar and crappy carbs, bread, pasta, rice. Dr. Martin, it's brown rice. I don't care. Your sugar is going through the stratosphere. Rice breaks down into sugar rapidly. And the timing on that is the more insulin you need, the more you develop insulin resistance. and the more trouble you're in. Thus, remember, insulin's got two jobs. One, the traffic cop. You ain't parking in the blood. Out, 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 till he can't do it anymore. And then secondly, it is now a growth hormone. It stores. It stores. Okay? Has to. Sugar, unused for energy, must be stored. And it gets stored as fat. In muscles, we talk about these all the time. You need muscles. You need bigger bins. You need bigger bins. Okay, 1. 2, liver. The liver is the Costco parking lot. Okay? Do you like that expression? Because every time I go by Costco, okay, in my hometown, Sudbury, okay, if I ever want to see my patients, all, from Sudbury or even from Northern Ontario, just go to Costco. I go in there, my wife says, will you quit talking to people all the time? I said, they're my former patients. I love my patients. I see them in Costco. Anyway, the liver is the Costco parking lot. It's always full. So insulin will either put your stored sugar, glycogen, in your muscles or in your liver. And then, if the liver is full, no more room at the Costco parking lot, it will now start to pack on fat cells. And insulin loves, because it's unlimited. Now there's all sorts of extra parking spaces in fat cells. It just continues to produce them. And for some people, you see it. Some people it's very visible. I get silly, okay? Dr. Martin, I don't know why people are so big today. I go to the mall and I look at people and we're all big. Why, Dr. Martin? Why? Is it hormones? Well, it is. It's insulin. It's a growth hormone. It will pack on fat. Oh, I'm skinny, Dr. Martin. I must be healthy. I'm skinny. No. No, because you have invisible fat. You don't see it, but it's packed around your heart. It's packed around your pancreas. It's packed around your liver. Some people you see it, and some people it's invisible. But it's still, if you're a carboholic, I'm sorry, you're not getting away from it. Because, as Dr. Bickman said, most people are spending every waking moment and every sleeping moment in elevated insulin because of their poor choice of foods. My name is Tony, and I'm a carboholic. Bread, pasta, rice, cereals, sugars, sweets, pastries, juice, store-bought milk, white Pepsi, insulin. So now, okay, and this is where size matters, okay? That whole introduction was to come back to size matters, okay? Because everything gets bigger and some things get smaller. Now let me talk to you about that. And again, this is repetition for my day-to-day audience. But again, I'm sorry, I'm a simple guy. I got to keep it simple, stupid, because I'm stupid. Okay? Seriously, okay? Why, Dr. Martin, does size matter? Okay? Why? Insulin is a growth hormone. It's a growth hormone. It will take your heart. Look, emotionally, you know what we say? Oh, Dr. Tony has a big heart. Don't say that. Okay? Now, emotionally, I hope that's true. Okay? I have a big heart. I love people. I love my ex-patients. I love my audience. I do. Some of you I've never met, but I think I know, it's like I know you. You're with me every day, and I love that, and I love you guys. And that means you got a big heart, but you know what I mean by that. That's, oh, you got a big heart. You don't want a big, well, you want a big emotional heart. You want a loving heart, for sure, but you don't want a big heart, cardiomyopathy. You don't want that. You don't want a big heart. That's not good for you, because with a big heart comes small blood vessels. Size matters. Because when your heart is affected by insulin, again, we're coming back to food. It's not cholesterol. Blaming cholesterol. That's not what causes heart disease, my friend. It has nothing to do with, well, it does if your cholesterol is not high enough. We're looking for love in all the wrong places. That's why I appreciated Dr. Bickman, because he talked about that. He said, you know what insulin does? It enlarges your heart. That's not good. Big heart, small constricted blood vessels. That elevates your blood pressure. Heart and kidney connection. You're a carboholic. Insulin is around all the time. Well, Dr. Martin, my nutritionist said, eat small meals several times a day. Get a headache. You're keeping your insulin going all the time, especially if you're eating carbohydrates. That's not good for you. Big heart, small blood vessels, constricted. Blood pressure goes up. That ain't good. Big heart, small vessels in the brain. Have you ever heard of small vessel dementia? Big heart, small blood vessels in the brain and constricted. That's what stinking carbs do to you. And that's what insulin does to you. Insulin's your friend till it's not, until you use it too much. You get a big heart. Okay? Not a softie. You don't become a mush. You get a big heart, that ain't good. You get a big liver, that ain't good. You want a big liver? Nope. Nope. Your liver, the Costco parking lot. My son likes the analogy of the packed up minivan. You're going on a vacation and you don't have one single, my grandson, the suitcase, okay? I remember he stayed with us and he was heading back and he had a carry-on, that's all, okay? You know what they're like, they're small. And I said, I call him Jojo, Josiah. I said, Jojo, you ain't getting all that stuff in that suitcase. He said, you watch me, Grandpa. I'm going to pack it in. I said, it's impossible. He did it. I couldn't believe it. He had to sit on it, mind you. But that's what happens to your liver when you eat carbs. Your liver enlarges. Very, very dangerous. Your pancreas. You don't even think about it. That little pen-like organ that is the key when it comes to food, that sits right underneath your stomach. Your pancreas enlarges. Is that good? Nope. Your kidneys get enlarged. Is that good? Nope. Why? Because kidneys that enlarge hold on to water and salt. And your blood pressure goes up too. Now you got a double whammo. The heart's enlarged and the liver's enlarged. The kidneys are enlarged. My friend, it's the key to understanding why we have so much chronic disease today. Size matters. Okay? And one area that gets smaller, and I've talked to you about this so many times, the brain shrinks. The brain shrinks. If you ever see an autopsy on an Alzheimer's brain, you know what you're going to see? That brain looks like a prune. It's shrunk and dried out. Do you want that? Who wants that? But nobody's talking about it, because what happened is that the big pharma and big food, big pharma's trying to develop medication. It's been a colossal failure for Alzheimer's. Why? Looking for love in all the wrong places. They thought it was a protein plaque. And, that's not what causes Alzheimer's. It's type 3 diabetes. It's sugar, my friend. It's not genetics. I had somebody talk to me on the weekend and say, well, I'm worried about my brain because my mom had dementia. Well, it may make 1 or 2% difference, but that's it. It's not genetics. It's not. That's an excuse for people to put you on medication. Your medication is your food. Your food. Size matters, guys. You got it? And the only thing you really want to do, what do you want to get big? Your brain? Fat head? Eat fat. Fat don't make you fat. Animal fat don't make you fat. Damn right. My doctor said, ooh, tell your doctor I love them. Okay? I mean it. You can say, Dr. Martin just gave me a note to say, Doc, I love you. But you're wrong. You didn't learn anything in medical school about food. Okay? You need to catch up to my audience. They know more about food than you do. And what it does inside your body. You don't think it's important as long as it's in moderation. You got cancer. What makes cancer cells grow? Hello? What makes cancer cells grow? They need fuel, Size matters for cancer cells. Size matters. They live on sugar. My doctor said, or I watched Netflix, and Netflix said, red meat will give you cancer. Do you know how many millions and millions and millions of people believe that? That if you have a steak, you are increasing your risk of cancer. Why? Because it's acidic. And I get a headache. It ain't acidic. Red meat's bad. No, it's the best. Cancer cells, when you have a steak, you know what cancer cells are doing? Oh, stink. That jerk is not feeding me again. That's what they're saying. They're teenagers. They're renegades. They're bad. And they want to eat all the time. But if you have a steak, a cancer cell goes, you know, that bum didn't feed me again today. You're on the reset for 30 days. Your cancer cells are looking at each other and said, we can't survive. This guy or this lady is fasting. No, you're not even fasting. You're just eating eggs, meat, and cheese. Cancer can't survive without the proper fuel. For them is sugar. Honey. I didn't say honey. I meant you as honey. Oh, guys, size matters. Size matters. Heart, brain, your organs, like your pancreas and your liver, your kidneys, your cells, cancer cells. Size matters. Okay? You know, I don't think I breathed through the 30 minutes or so of our program. I was so excited. Okay. Have I told you lately how much I appreciate this audience? You haven't done it? Okay. Guys, we really do. We really, really do. Okay? We love you so much, you have no idea. Okay? Okay. And look, if you guys have a birthday or whatever, okay, like I got to know about it. I can't say happy birthday to you if you don't tell me. You know whose birthday it is today? It's Yolande's. Okay, Yolande's been, I think she was one of my first patients ever. Okay? We go back a long ways, okay? And I got to say happy birthday. But you guys, I want to say happy birthday to you. You all said happy birthday to me back in January, right? But I mean it. Just send me a little note or tell the girls or whatever. I don't know how you do it. Okay, guys, we love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.